it's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Saturday, January 29th. So today we do have the moon moving out of Sagittarian energy, which was definitely helpful, gave us the light at the end of the tunnel, revealed some truth, inspired us to align with our higher selves, good vibes. And now the moon is going to be moving into Capricorn energy. Let's talk about this just for a second here. Anytime we shift out of the Sagittarian energy for Capricorn energy, it feels like we fell out of a plane without the parachute opening. Why? Because the Sag energy flies high. It's on top of the world. It's optimistic. It's positive. It's confident. It's seeing the bigger picture. It knows no boundaries. It thinks anything is possible, which is a good energy for us to have, especially dealing with some of the heavier topics that have been thrown at us. But this Capricorn energy is an earth energy. We come back down to earth at a very accelerated rate. We have to be grounded. We have to be practical. We have to be logical. It does tend to slow us down a bit, but we do need to be a little bit slowed down right now because we're building some very, very interesting foundations for ourselves individually, for the collective as in humanity. And we have to slow the roll down long enough to examine exactly what we're doing. We have to be logical. We have to be practical. We have to be calculated. We have to be strategic in this. And there's really no room for bullshit when the moon is in Capricorn. We're definitely not focused on our emotions. We are dealing with the matters at hand. We are bossing up. We are taking control of the aspects in which we have control over. And we're not going to muddy the waters with the emotions that have been triggered over the past cycle. So this is going to be a little bit of a sobering energy. And we have to consider the fact that Capricorn energy tends to highlight the negative Nancy narrative in us all. But sometimes, especially after flying high on that very grandest, manic type of energy that the moon and Sag provides us with, this is going to be a nice shift in order to bring us back down to earth and face reality instead of conjuring up dreams for ourselves in the future. There are 11 different aspects taking place today. 10 of them involve the moon. The only aspect that is not involving the moon is our beautiful goddess, Venus, who has successfully climbed her beautiful ass out of this dark pit where she had to tear herself down, where she had to recognize that nobody was coming to save her, where she had to recognize the karmic debt that she was currently paying off in the life lessons and the life cycles that she just typically ended. And now that she has a new perspective, a new value, a new worth within herself, now that she knows what she has to do in her personal relationships, in her daily life, in order to align with happiness and joy and a vibration and a frequency that is deserving, let's say, she is on a brand new tear. We're definitely going to see a major shift. We are going to see ourselves, our energy be freed in a lot of ways. And so we can definitely expect there to be a major heart activation take place here today as she comes out of this dark pit. She plants her feet on the stable ground and she puts her hands and her head up to this beautiful sunlight that is illuminating a brand new reality for her to give birth to. So the moon is going to bump into the true node. Now, let me just say here for a second that this is while the moon is still void, of course, in Sag, making our way into this Capricorn energy that we technically will not lock into until about 4 a.m., again, at Eastern Standard Time. So we're very uncertain, we're very unstable at this point. The moon in Sag is kind of losing her fizzle, losing her positive aspect, losing the big picture. That's why at this particular moment, she's kind of at odds with the true node. The true node is the vision, the goal for us to actually align with for our future selves. And we're a little bit confused because we're recognizing now that, wow, we did kind of go overboard there. We were a little bit extra with all the dreams that we conjured up there with the vision of the possibilities, and we weren't being so realistic. So now we're like, damn, is the plan that we just kind of felt in alignment with over the last couple of days, is this even possible? Is it even is it even an option for us? So now we start questioning ourselves. At this particular point in time, 3:47 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, this is where Venus finally crawls out of her dark pit. Let me tell you, I want you to go ahead. I want you to check out the Astro Forecast that I put out in this. You can find that in January's energy forecast. I want you to dive into this Astro event that I went a little bit more in detail about. This is going to be game changing for our individual lives, for the collective of our lives moving forward, and for our realities that we're now giving birth to. I know I ranted a little bit at the beginning of this forecast on what Venus coming out of retrograde and going direct is going to feel like, is going to shift in our realities. But you best believe there's going to be an empowering kind of energy that we have available for us to tap into today. It's going to feel fresh. It's going to feel inspired. It's going to swell our heart chakras up to a brand new level of unity, of surety. And I am quite excited for Venus to kind of, wipe the sleep out of her eyes, for her to understand that she's been in the unconscious, darker realms of her ego for the past 40 days and 40 nights, and for her to awaken to this very bright sunlight that is now illuminating a beautiful path for her to follow. So it's going to be a powerful shift in all of us, and we're definitely going to start seeing things move at a very accelerated rate now that she is direct and now that she is being empowered to make the serious changes that she's been reflective over for the past 40 days. Now, the moon is going to semi-square Saturn, and this is definitely going to kind of highlight for us where it is that we're at odds with our emotions. When we have a big shift like Venus coming out of a retrograde, she's an inner planet, which has a direct effect on our daily lives. We can be uncertain. Something has shifted. Something has changed. Many of us can't put our finger on it. Many of us are feeling emotions that we can't even attach to an event, to a situation, to a thought, to a memory in order for us to be having this experience. So we get a little bit confused. Now, Saturn energy, again, rules over Capricorn, rules over the energy that Venus was just under retrograde in Capricorn. This is karmic, okay? We are releasing karmic ties. And in order for us to kind of let go of the karmic chapter that we're moving out of, we have to, in our heart space and in our head space, recognize what it is that we're freeing ourselves from, where it is that we're feeling liberated, where it is that we're feeling independent, where it is that we're feeling the want, need, and desire to kind of lighten the load of the roles and responsibilities that we've been drowning under for so long. This particular energy is going to create a little bit of tension inside of us because things are shifting. Our heart is going through a rapid, accelerated rate of reprocessing. We have a lot to catch up on, and it's not making sense in our physical realms what's going on in our energetic realms at this particular moment. Now, here's where we get a brand new burst of energy backing all of this new awakening for our inner selves with Venus coming direct. The moon at this particular point is now in Capricorn energy. And the minute that the moon moves into Capricorn energy, what happens? We bump into Mars, who is just fresh in Capricorn energy. This conjunction is going to muster up a brand new bravery, a brand new courage, a brand new willpower, a brand new determination, a brand new energy for us to definitely put the blinders on, to get a little bit frustrated, a little bit angered, because sometimes that is the most powerful energy that we can use to make some serious freaking changes. Now, Mars rules over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, our desire. And in Capricorn energy, we are definitely bringing things to life. Capricorn energy is the great manifester of the zodiac, where we can take control over our physical realm. Now, this particular energy is bossing us up in our emotional field. The moon rules over our emotions, our unconscious self. Now we have a huge illumination because Venus just came out of this dark pit on what it is that we have to do in our personal relationships, in our day-to-day life, in our routines, in our money matters, because we're not happy. We're not in alignment with joy and happiness and peace and harmony. We've had a lot of time to think about the changes that we need to make when we're given the support in order to do so. And now Mars is firing us up to be determined enough to not be swayed by the outside influences that are going to try to prevent us from making these major changes and transformations. Mars is here to tell us, guess what? You are a warrior. You will not be held back by ego again. Technically, that's a lie to ourselves because we always need our ego. But in this particular moment, we're like, no, we are spiritually aligned. We are spiritually driven. We are inspired. We feel different. There's a new worth, a new value that we now see in life. We are humbled, and we will stop at nothing in order to create the long-term foundational changes in our personal lives in order to never go back to the situations that we know we had to go through in order to illuminate to our own strength and our own purpose and our own power, but we don't want to experience that again. We're going to take that life lesson. We're going to stand very firmly in it. We're going to direct our energy in a futuristic sense by standing in our power here and now and taking control over the smaller details that we actually have control over to make up the bigger, broader picture that we're now inspired to live. The moon is going to bump into the true node. Finally, we see a little bit of a bigger picture emerging. Finally, we see the path forward. Finally, we recognize what it is that we want, need, and desire to make ourselves happy, to feel supported, to feel safe, to feel secure. Now we're going to re-edit our plans. Even the plans that we had yesterday, they don't really make sense anymore. We have a brand new energy and emotion backing the new plans, which means that they're going to come to life a lot quicker than the uncertain plans that we were just kind of following for the sake of improvement yesterday and the day before. This is a pivotal point of change. This is where we start to breathe again. This is where the fresh air fills our lungs and we're suddenly inspired to really lean into the fact that, hey, maybe everything is going to be okay. We're going to ride off of this hypeness because the moon is going to sextile Jupiter. And as we know, Jupiter is a little bit extra. He is showing us the growth that is taking place inside of us. He is showing us the areas in our life in which we want, need, and desire to improve. He is showing us the silver linings from the darkness that we've been sitting in. He is showing us the wants, needs, and desires that our heart and our head are now getting on the same page with so that we can actively start bringing them to life and manifesting them here in this physical realm. Now, the moon is going to square Chiron, and this is the little damper on our parade. Because again, may I remind you, anytime that we take 2 steps forward in our life, that we are aligning to a higher vibration and frequency, those dark force energies and agendas, they want to pull us back. And they do so by creating uncertainty and doubt and fear in our lives. And the moon bumping into Chiron right now, this is where the negative Nancy narrative comes out to play. That Capricorn energy, we're down to earth, but sometimes we go so far below the earth that we're in the underworld of the darkness. And we are going to have a little bit of a blip, especially riding high throughout the day as we've been. This is going to be a little bit of a situation to take a little bit of wind out of our sails. But it's not going to last for too long because the moon is going to bump into Neptune. This is where we channel in our higher selves, where our intuition is very strong in reminding us what it is that we have to do to ground, what it is that we have to do to overwrite that negative narrative, what it is that we have to do in our physical realms in order to bust free and liberate ourselves from some of the restrictions and confines that we've been facing. This is definitely going to illuminate for us where it is that we have hope again. The moon is going to bump into the sun. And this is always an interesting aspect because it's an overlap of seeing the change that has taken place within us. It is almost a split second of being so grounded in the present moment where we can look back over the path in which we've just traveled to see how it is that we ended up at this point, everything that we're moving away from, everything we had to endure in order to absorb the lesson from, in order to stand in this place of power, to see where it is that those aha moments, that experience, that connection is impacting our choices, our options, our actions in moving forward. The moon is going to trine Uranus. This is a beautiful aspect. It is bringing such a clear vision to our mental space, to our heart space. We are finally recognizing what it is that we need in order to feel safe and secure and supported. This is what we are being kind of inspired to pursue. This Uranian energy affects the higher realm. So this is downloads coming in. This is intuitive insights coming in. This is a shift in perspective, a moment of genius. This is the aha moment that we don't back down from. This is going to be a clearer picture of everything that we've been confused about, especially in the bigger picture that we're trying to work towards. And then we're able to zoom in on what it is that we actually have control of in the here and now that's going to add up to that bigger, broader vision that now we're being definitely inspired to pursue. We wrap this day up, this beautiful shift in perspective day up, with the moon conjunct with Venus. This particular aspect is the very first aspect that Venus makes now that she is direct. Just think, she's been drugged. She's been in an unconscious realm of undoing, dealing with the karmic life lessons and the life cycles that had her down, that had her ripping herself apart, that made her feel like she wasn't enough, that she wasn't deserving, that she'll never be happy. Now she's up out of this hole. She's standing in the sunlight. The sunlight is cleansing her of all of these negative frequencies and vibrations that she's been sitting in for the last 40 days. The moon, our emotional selves in Capricorn, realist, okay? We are focused on the physical realm. We're being real about it. The moon is bumping into Venus in this way. And this is a gentle aspect because this is kind of like, damn, girl, you survived. Okay? You survived. This is a moment when we get to reflect back on all the things that we survived. This is a moment where we get empowered, divinely inspired to stand in our warriorship, because that's what it is that we are at this point in time. And we're being asked, what do you need? We're asking ourselves, what do you want? And here's the question of all questions. What do you now think that you deserve?